Welcome back to Fox and Friends. Earlier this month, President Obama unveiled his plan to bring the U.S. out of unemployment and hit the road to ask the public's support.
But there are still skeptics. Ryan Blair once lived a life of crime as part of a gang, but he has since gone from next to nothing to a multi-millionaire, now one of the country's most successful small business owners. And he has some advice for how to create jobs. Ryan's book is Nothing to Lose, Everything to Gain, and he joins us now from Los Angeles. Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan. And I understand you were insulted that in the tease beforehand we called you just a millionaire. You're a multi-millionaire. We want to be clear about that.
You know, I wasn't insulted, but, you know, I have generated many millions of dollars. And in fact, one of the companies we have that we took from nothing out of the recession does over $1 million a day in sales right now. So I've done well. And I'm one of the people that gets taxed at that, you know, infamous capital gains rate. So I have a lot of input on the subject.
Okay, good. So before we get to what you suggest the president do and plans for creating jobs, can you just tell us a little bit how you went from being a gang member to a multimillionaire? What turned it around for you?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. In our society, the biggest potential problems out there can also be the biggest potential solutions. And by the grace of God, I had a mentor come into my life when I was about 17 years old, and he showed me how to create a legal startup business as opposed to an illegal startup business. And so I figured it was easier to do that than run from the law all my life. And so I took the path of, you know, creating a startup business when I was 19, and now I'm 34 years old. And, you know, I built companies that do hundreds of millions of dollars a year in revenue.
So when you heard the president, who was then a candidate on the campaign trail back a few years ago, run into Joe the plumber and say to him, I believe in, you know, redistributing wealth. There are those individuals out there who need the help, and we need to spread the wealth around. What was your response to that?
You know, because I was poor and I know what it's like to you know, be envious or even jealous of the poor growing up, I understand the sentiment. So I've been there. But, you know, it's real simple. I really believe you should get the poor off the bench and put their money to work literally, meaning give us incentive to create jobs, and we will. Don't redistribute it. Now, if a person's sitting on the sidelines and they don't want to participate in our economic problems, then, you know, maybe they should be taxed at a higher rate. But don't tax me at a higher rate when I'm creating hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs this year.
You say unemployment will be solved by stimulating innovation and creating new entrepreneurs. Great. How do you do that?
Well, you know, it's real simple. You educate people on entrepreneurship, you get in there, you roll up your sleeves, and you give the incentive. So, for example, let's say I'm taxed at, you know, I make $10 million this year and I'm taxed at 15%, or my rate goes up based on the amount of jobs that I actually create. And it's real simple. You can figure out how to give me a deduction per child. Why can't you give me a deduction per job I create, literally costing no debt money, just get me off the bench and into the game? Right now, I'm not. I'm going to sit on the sidelines and save my money as much as I can because I'm uncertain. That's the wrong sentiment to be creating within the rich right now. Get them to work.
And I'll get you out of here on this question. You mentioned at the top the Buffett rule, which is being taxed, as millionaires being taxed at a higher rate than they currently are. Your response to that?
My response is I think Obama hijacked Warren Buffett's rule. Warren Buffett is a very qualified person. I have a lot of respect for him. I know what it's like to start a business and create jobs from scratch. Shift the incentive to people who start businesses and actually create jobs, net new jobs. That's what employs our nation. We're focused on the wrong people. We're focused on big corporations that have huge billion-dollar incentives for payroll taxes and the current jobs plan. Put it into the hands of the guys that are going to roll up their sleeve. I mean, I could create a job for a lot less than $250,000 per.
Wow. Yeah. Well, you wrote a letter to President Obama outlining all of this and your suggestions, and we'll see if he takes you up on some of that.
Ryan, here's the book, Nothing to Lose, Everything to Gain. Go pick it up now. Fascinating stuff. Ryan Blair, thanks for coming on the show.